What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I just wanted to kind of do a little drive and talk and basically discuss why I went from a 2020 Toyota Supra, why I sold my 2020 Supra, and I bought a 2021 Civic Type R. So if you like this type of video, let me know in the comment section below, and I will definitely try to do more of them. So yeah, we're just gonna drive around and talk about why I sold the Supra for the Type R. A lot of you might be going from the Type R to the Supra, so maybe this would give some insight to you guys about what the Supra was like to own for a couple years. So reason number one was I felt like my taste kind of changed about the Supra. If you followed the channel, you would have seen that we put a big turbo kit on the car. It was on ethanol and it was making some really nice power, like 700 horsepower and like 700 foot-pounds of torque, and the car was insanely fast. But what I kind of came to realize after owning it for a couple years was I never really used that power, you know. I never took it to the drag strip and really beat on the car. It was kind of pointless to have all that power if I'm not going to use it. And maybe some of you guys can relate to this in other situations. But yeah, that's kind of just how I felt. It was more of a weekend car that I would use to go to Cars and Coffee or cruise around with my friends or make YouTube videos with. And yeah, it was cool having all that power, but when did I really use it? I never really used all that power. So the big reason why I wanted to get the Type R was because I wanted something that would be insanely good at back roads and corners and turns. And that was the biggest reason why I went with the Type R, was because this car is insanely good. I mean, the Supra was good, don't get me wrong. I mean, it was a sports car, so of course it was good on the back roads. But the Type R, I mean, I tell you, the Type R is like next level compared to the Supra when you take it on the back roads. I would assume it's because it's a few 100 pounds lighter than the Supra was. It's front wheel drive, maybe that has to do with it. But man, this thing, I don't think I've ever been in a car as good as this car is on the back road. So that was a huge influence on why I went with the Type R. I also wanted something that I didn't have to really worry about getting into driving, putting miles on the car, and really hurting the value of the car. With the Supra, I felt like every time I got in it, I was like watching how many miles I put on it, watching where you park it, and you don't want to take it places because, you know, it's just a hassle. You know, you don't even want to take it out to dinner because then you have to find parking, and if it's, you know, down in like the city, then it's like street parking, or it's just a hassle. So that was another reason why I just felt like I wasn't enjoying the car anymore. I felt that every time I had to take it out, it was a pain, unless I was going to like a Cars and Coffee where I knew I could park somewhere and not have to worry about it. And this thing, you know, this car is still like, this car is pretty pricey and it's still kind of a rare car, but I feel like I can put more wear and tear on it and not worry as much. Another reason why I wanted the Type R was because of all the aftermarket support for the car. We already did the wheels, the tires, the suspension, and we're going to be doing a lot more as far as we're going to be putting some bolt-ons on the car, maybe some ethanol, and my goal is to get this thing up around 420 horsepower or 400 wheel torque. I think that'll be a really nice sweet spot for the car. Yeah, so like all the aftermarket support for this car, I already know that these things are tunable. I wanted a manual car. I wanted something more JDM feeling. The Supra, even though it's a Toyota, you know, there's a lot of BMW influence, and I don't care that it has a BMW engine or BMW suspension or any of that. The biggest problem with the Supra was the interior. It just felt kind of like, even though you're hunkered down and you're compact in the inside, it felt like you're still like just any other BMW. I mean, everything, even though this is like any other Civic, the Supra just felt like you were in like a 340, a 330. Seats, like this car at least has some nice bucket seats, and it feels almost sportier in here because of the seats and the steering wheel and the red seat belts than the Supra did. The Supra, I mean, had the most boring plain seats in any sports car, I feel like. I mean, they didn't have any side bolstering really. They were all leather, they were heated and everything, and that's all fine, but I mean, you look at these seats in the Type R, and it's like a night and day difference. I mean, I think that Toyota really should invest in putting some better seats in that Supra. I don't want this to be like a complaining about the Supra video, because the Supra is like a really nice car, and you know, it's a really nice platform to make power. This is just kind of my reasoning why I decided to get a Type R. And you can see, like, out where I live, I got all these roads that are just awesome for this car in particular. Yeah, so this thing feels way more, you know, JDM-ish, even though I know the Type Rs were built in Europe. I don't know, it just feels more Japanese to me. Another thing I wanted was the space. Now, when I bought the Supra, I didn't really care for the space. I was like, whatever. But as the years have gone by, I've almost felt like it'd be nicer to have the space. So if I want to take this on a trip, you know, and I want to, you know, if I want to take this down to Virginia to the mountains, or I want to take this to upstate New York and those mountains, or some places that I frequently visit, I wanted the space to throw my luggage in here and take this car and then be able to enjoy the car in those locations. And in the Supra, you couldn't really do that. But by the time you put a couple suitcases in there, it's already filled. And I know, like, that's not the purpose of the Supra, but that's just kind of why I wanted to get something with a little bit more space. Between wanting a manual, wanting a lightweight car, wanting something that felt a little bit more Japanese-esque, I think this car ticks all those boxes. Now, I might still be in the honeymoon phase with this car, but the last month and a half that I've owned it, man, I can't stop driving it. It's just the way this thing corners is like, it's hard to describe to somebody who hasn't driven one or ridden in one. It's a beast, I'm telling you. And I can't wait to get some power mods put into this car. Those will be coming soon. We will be doing that probably in the next couple months. If you saw my previous video, you would have known that I actually already did the Clutchmaster's FX 400 clutch, because pretty sure the previous owner messed up the stock clutch, so I already went ahead and did that on this car. But yeah, guys, I think that's basically everything about the Supra and why I decided to go with the Type R. If you like this video, guys, hit that like button, subscribe. Hopefully I could have given you a little insight about the Supra, if that's the route you're going. But yeah, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will make more Civic Type R content in the future.